Hey there, guys and gals, animal friends and spirit pals, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for being here. This video is going to be an animal tale video. Yay! Animal tales. I love them. And this one is going to be brought to you by Coyote Medicine. These are animal cards, animal medicine cards. And Coyote is the medicine we're going to be talking about tonight. This story is about me and a coyote friend of mine named Mindy. If you look at the thumbnail on this video, that'll be a picture of me and Mindy. And I want to just take a minute here with Pan and ask Coyote Energy to come and join us today, if it would like to, and just bring its energy here with us to get the benefit of the attention and love that we have here as I relate its story. I'm going to see if I can get my bell to sing a little and call out. Okay. Good. I'm going to have some coyote energy in here. You know, coyote medicine is, coyote kind of carries around trickster energy. And he's like the divine trickster. And coyote energy can also be that energy that brings a little extra fun to a party, that can wipe an old sour face off an old fogey and replace it with a smile. It can also be so tricky that it tricks itself and ends up laughing at himself because, uh-oh, I fell into my own trap. It can also be kind of oblivious and fall into his own trap and then get up the next day and go and do the exact same thing over and over. And a lot of times when he comes in your life, it's going to teach you a lesson, but in a way that's funny or that makes you laugh, or it's kind of, sometimes it can be comical errors, just silly thing, silly energy, like me dancing the other day on a video. That would be coyote energy. And stuff like that. Also, coyote can teach you a lesson with some humor. So this story about Mindy. Mindy was a coyote I met when I was doing the animal shows at the LA Zoo. Way back in the day, they had animal shows, mammal shows, which they don't have now and they haven't had for many, many years. But the last one they had, I worked at it. And so did Mindy. And Mindy was just a great coyote. The things she did in our shows, and our shows were really more educational programs, and really we were focused on animals that were indigenous to the area and helping and and appreciate the animals more that were right in their own backyards. And part of what Mindy did was she would howl when we'd ask her to, or she would howl with the audience, and that was always a big hit. Of course, we always that part of the show we always prefaced it with, other animals in the zoo don't like howling. Mindy does, because she was trained to, and she likes performing, and this is her little gift that she gives with the other animals in the zoo, hate howling and barking, yelling, screaming. So of course we'd always include that. Mindy, in our show, we had two different areas where the animals could stay, one down close to the stage during showtime, and then a lot of the bigger animals had another living area that was pretty far away. It was out in an area called the Boneyard. And it was a bit of a walk. Now, we had a van and we could drive them, but a lot of times Mindy would walk to the stage area, and we'd take her on a walk, and she loved walking on a leash. But we wouldn't go through the zoo. We would go up through the park. This park is in the foothills, so basically up a little mountain and down the other side, and where there was no people or anything, just sagebrush and bushes and trees and a tiny, teeny trail that the Coyote and me or whoever else was walking her made. And she loved those walks. And I really loved walking her. So a lot of times I wouldn't ride, I would walk Mindy over the mountain to the show. And, one day when I was deciding to talk with Mindy and commune with her telepathically, the thing she said to me was, I would like to lead the walk instead of always having to follow your lead. And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. That seems easy enough. The next time we go, I'll let you lead. And, I can kind of seeing her rubbing her little paws together. I got him now. Another part of Coyote medicine is being able to lead you wherever they want you to go. And it might be fun or it might not. It just depends. They're more interested in you following them than really where they're leading you to. So we started out on our walk back to the Boneyard, and I was gonna, my intention was, okay, Mindy, you can lead. And boy, was that a challenge. Like, it was so hard for me not to say all the time, no, go this way. No, I don't want to go there. Slow down. When I wanted to slow down, she wanted to speed up. And when she wanted to slow down, I wanted to speed up. And don't stop halfway on the incline, So that was a real learning challenge for me, to allow her to choose and me just to follow. And I was getting scraped and scratched and tripping and tumbling, and she was just happy as a clam leading me along the way. And I could tell she loved it, and she would like to do that more often, although it was a little more difficult for me because the way she wanted to go wasn't really an easy way for humans to go. You kind of needed 4 legs to get in some of those areas, so I was down on my knees going through the bushes and whatever. But it was a fun little exercise with her, and it was also a good learning experience for me, because when I asked her what she wanted and she told me and then I followed through, it created an adventure for me as well. Another experience I had with her is the show got more keepers that worked there. Everybody kind of wanted to work with Mindy, but Mindy had a tolerance level that didn't include everyone. So if you were able to work with Mindy and walk her and do things like that, it was because she wanted you to. You couldn't really force it on her. It was her choice. And then if she allowed you to, great, it was easy peasy. But if she didn't allow you to, you wouldn't be able to do it. And she would growl and bark and threaten you and stuff like that. As we got more keepers, more and more wanted to, work with her. And they tried to work in on her, by getting to know her and then try to leash her and stuff like that. Well, she let one more, and then she had enough, so then she was like getting the point across of, I don't want any more. This is too many. And so then what she started to do was started taking out people that she had let in to the club, and she started axing others out. Eventually she got to the point where she'd only work with one person, her main person that she loved most of all, and the rest of us had to just sit on the sidelines. She said, you pushed me too far. I told you I didn't want more people. You kept trying. And so I said, enough. Well, once when I was bringing her from a walk. We walked a lot of those animals, all of them really, that were in the show, because our form of training was affection training or positive reinforcement. And so a lot of times that involved playtime, fun walks, things that had nothing to do with performing or working. It was just fun time. They could do whatever they wanted. And so I was bringing Mindy back. She loved those walks, and I'd done it many, many times. And I was bringing her back. Actually, I was bringing her to do the show, and then I put her in her holding cage, when she's waiting for the show to start. And when I put her in there, I need to take her leash and collar off of her, because it would be too easy for her to get stuck on something and choke herself or something like that. Anyway, you don't ever want to leave a collar and a leash on an animal without being there to watch them. And we always took it off. She was always great about it. It was a snap collar, and she would just let me. Usually I'd give her a snack and unsnap the collar at the same time, and everything was fine. So I go to do my regular routine, and right when I go to do it, she goes, "Arr!" And I went, "Oh." And stopped, and I looked at her and thinking, well, maybe I have to take your collar off. And so I reached down, and she goes, "Arr!" And I go, And, I could tell she was saying, "Don't do it." But yet, my thing is, well, I need to do it because I can't leave it on you. And I don't really want to leave and go, "Somebody come help me," because I've done this over and over and over again. Why won't you let me? This is all my mind thinking. And so I go one more time, and she once again goes, "Arr!" Except it's a little bit more serious this time. And I'm kind of in a bind. There weren't any other keepers right there, so I was going to have to go get someone. So I just thought, oh, come on now, this is ridiculous. And I reach one more time, and then she just grabs my wrist with her mouth, sinks her canine tooth right through the top of it, right here, in this part, and just sank it all the way in. And then put the bottom of her mouth down here and went, "Nyah," and just shook it. And then pulled it out, and like that, like, "I told you 3 times, you're not doing it. And now that was, your last warning." And, I'm going, "Okay, I got it." Somebody else, you're going to have to come take your collar off. And I laugh about it because I knew better, and yet I still just pushed it, And she was like, warning, 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 getting a little bit more serious, more serious. Then she went snap-a-doo and sunk her fang all the way deep and pulled it out. Like, she didn't really rip or anything. It was just like a pinhole, but, fang size, perfectly round, right through my wrist. And when she pulled it out, it didn't even bleed. It was just like a little well. And you could see there's blood, but it didn't actually pour out or anything. And actually, that bite healed up just right away. By the next day, it was all closed, and I never had any problems, and never had any kind of infection or anything like that. I felt like it was more of a lesson than needing to have a lot of, health issues associated with it, if that makes any sense. Anyway, when I was looking at Coyote magic and Coyote medicine and that trickster energy, it really is funny, because she taught me that lesson about, "Here, lead me, and I'll take you on an adventure," and she surely did. And then that other thing of, "I'm warning you, you know better, and you just foolishly go in there anyway, and she goes, "Ah, you're on your head." And so, I appreciate her for that. And I love the coyotes like I do all the animals. And I hope that all of you watching this will just send them some energy, some positive attention and love, and allow their joyful spirit. Yeah, they can be tricky and teasing and fun, but sometimes that energy's fun as long as you're not meaning any harm. But you can be playful and tease, and make a game, and maybe you're not usually a lighthearted, but all of a sudden you'd like to be and fool everybody, and that's all Coyote energy, and that's really fun when someone's so serious. It wants to come in there and break it up a little, and we can really use that aspect of Coyote in our lives right now and in our world. So thanks guys for tuning in, and until the next time, peace.